What's up guys, my name is Sergey, I'm a freediving instructor trainer at Crystal Freediving. It is a freediving school on the island Ko Tao in Thailand. So if you are planning to visit Thailand, or if you're already in Thailand and you want to learn freediving or you want to improve freediving, welcome to our freediving school. So today I want to talk with you about freediving warm-up for open water sessions. So the warm-up is a little bit misleading term for freediving, because in general sports, in general physical activities, when you do a warm-up, your main goal is to bring more blood to your muscles and to your joints, and by doing so you prevent yourself to get any injury, or you prevent yourself to do your best performance. So in freediving the goals is a little bit different. So two main goals is relaxation and switched on your mammalian dive reflex. So relaxation, when we are talking about relaxation, we're talking about both like a mental relaxation and relaxation of your body. For me, mental relaxation even more important. For example, when I'm coming for open water sessions, I worry slightly about something what was already during my day or what is going to be after I finish this open water session. And then after a few warm-up dives, I stop worrying about this, and it's kind of better mindset for my freediving training, for my deep freediving, or like for something like this. And also body relaxation is really important. When you do a shallow dives, when you do a warm-up dives, it helps you to lose your muscles, to be more relaxed, and this is obviously beneficial for your deep dives. The second reason, which is also a really important reason, is to activate your dive reflex. For those of you who don't know about mammalian dive reflex, or if you want to learn a little bit more, you can find my video about mammalian dive reflex in a description to this video. If you're going a little bit down, then you will find the link to the video about mammalian dive reflex. Alright, so this is the two main reasons why freedivers do warm-ups. It is relaxation and to switch on mammalian dive reflex. I know there is a way for high level athletes how they do a deep dive. They don't do any warm-up dives before their deepest dive. So they just coming for the buoy, they do some relaxation breathing, and then they do immediately their deepest dive during the dive session. It makes sense, there is some logic behind this, but this way is more for high-level athletes. And if you are not high-level athletes, for you it's better to do a few warm-up dives. So once again, what is a warm-up dives? Warm-up dives is a shallow dives. So for example, if I'm planning to dive, let's say to 50 or 60 meters, I'm gonna do a couple of dives to somewhere between 13 and 15 meters, maybe to 20 meters as well. So something shallower, significantly shallower than my deep dive. I think it's quite common mistake when a beginner freediver do their warm-up dives almost to the same depths as their deep dive. So for example, if you are planning to dive to 20 meters and your warm-up dive, let's say 18 meters, it's actually not like really warm-up. It's almost your deepest dive. So in my opinion, your warm-up dives should be quite easy, right? So again, two main goals, relaxation and switch on mammalian dive reflex. How many shallow dives you want to do? It depends. If you are a complete beginner, maybe you want to start like somewhere between 3 and 4 dives, maybe like 4 dives. So again, maybe if you're planning to dive to 20 meters, your first dive can be 5-7 meters, the second dive maybe the same, then a couple of dives to 10 meters, and then you're ready to dive to 20 meters. So maybe 3 or 4 dives. And then with the practice you can reduce amount of warm-up dives. After a while you can start doing only 3 dives, and in the future maybe you're gonna start doing 2 dives, and then when you're gonna become a high-level athlete, you're gonna start doing 1 warm-up dives. Or maybe you ended up doing no warm-up dives, as like I said, some deep freedivers do. So between 3 and 4 for complete beginners, and then you gonna ended up doing like 1 or 2 warm-up dive. There is also common ways how to do warm-up dives, is to dive to shallow depths and then stay there. Let's say you're diving to 10 meters and then stay there for a few seconds. We call it hangs. So you dive to a shallow depths and hang there for a little bit, right? So for example, I like to dive to 15 meters and stay there for a few minutes. How long exactly you want to stay? Again, it's going to depend on your experience, on your level of comfort. For me, I don't really like to do hangs which make me really uncomfortable. When I started freediving, I remember for whatever reason it was the idea that you need to dive shallow and then you need to stay there as long as you possibly can. And then some people was having like massive contractions, and then they was going to the surface feeling really uncomfortable. For me, it doesn't really make sense because, again, as any other physical activity, your warm-up shouldn't be harder than your main dive, right? So if your main dive to 30 meters is going to be 1 minute something, then if you do a warm-up, let's say 3 minutes, it doesn't really make sense for me. So again, I like to do my warm-up dive pretty comfortable. So I usually start my ascent even before I feel like any urge to breathe. So let's say I'm going down to 13 meters, I stay there, I try to completely relax, I try to relax my mind, I try to enjoy to be in this moment, I try to be present in this moment, and then when I start to feel that I'm getting uncomfortable, then it's time to come up. Let's say I'm diving to 15 meters, I stay there a few minutes, and then I start feeling, oh, it's not really good place for me, then, okay, I don't like to stay here anymore, I start my ascent. Right? So this is a typical way how to do a warm-up. But again, there are some people who want to do shallow dives and stay there like really long. So this is a basic way how to do warm-ups. There is some variation how to do it. Again, on a high level, some freedivers, let's say, do half like passive exhale and then they do warm-up and stuff like that. But now for you guys, if you're a beginner and intermediate freediver, I think this is the best. Just dive to a shallow depths and stay there for a little bit and then slowly ascend. So guys, this is it. This was what I was planning to talk today about warm-up for the open water session. If you found some interesting and useful information, don't forget to put the like button. It helps me a lot. And if you have anything to say, leave it in comments. I really appreciate your feedback. I like to read your feedback. Thank you very much if you do it. Okay guys, thank you for your attention, thank you for watching, and see you next time.